What's up, guys? My name is Jerry, and today's video is going to be on the Phoenix Suns. And we're going to be talking about what makes their depth unbelievable, and we're going to jump right into the video. And recently, the Phoenix Suns have been hit with their biggest challenge of this NBA season, and that's having to play without their floor general, their point guard, and their leader, Chris Paul. Chris Paul went down at All-Star break with a right hand injury, and he was diagnosed to be out for at least 6 to 8 weeks. And then on top of that, coming off the All-Star break, I think it was a game or two, Devin Booker was put into health and safety protocols, and he had to miss about a week of basketball. And watching the Suns during that stretch without their two best players, it made me realize two things about this team: that they're very well coached and they play mistake-free basketball, and they're one of the deepest teams in the league. And the Phoenix Suns play great basketball, and they have one of the best schemes in the NBA, but it's also one of the most simple schemes in basketball. And they run the two-man game to perfection. And when I say the two-man game, I'm talking about the pick and roll. And the reason that they're able to run this pick and roll to perfection is that the Phoenix Suns have three groups of perfect prototype players. And in this video, we're going to talk about those three groups of players that they have. And when I say perfect prototype player, they don't just have one in each category, but they have multiple players in each of these categories. And the first one is facilitators. The Phoenix Suns have three great facilitators on this team, and it started at the starting point guard position with Chris Paul, who's injured right now. But we all know what Chris Paul can do with the basketball when it comes to playmaking. There's nothing I can tell you guys that you don't know. I've probably never seen, since I've been watching basketball, I'm 21 years of age. I've probably been watching for like 6, 7, 8 years. I've never seen nobody that can run the pick and roll like Chris Paul. He does a very great job at it because there's so many things that he can come off the pick and roll and do. He can come off and score. He can get to the rim. He can shoot the mid-range. And then when the defense take that away, Chris Paul is one of the best passers of all time. And that's what makes the Phoenix Suns pick and roll so elite, that they can do so many things off of it, because they usually have a big that can catch lobs and finish at the rim, and then everybody else on the court is shooters. So there's really no way you can stop that pick and roll unless you just play 100% great defense. And then you look at the other two facilitators on this team, Cameron Payne and Aaron Holiday. And Cameron Payne has been doing a very solid job of backing up Chris Paul. He's been doing it since last season, and this season it seems like he's improved significantly as a playmaker. Since stepping into the starting lineup, he's been averaging at least 5 assists a game, and then he's also had a game where he had like 14 assists. And Cameron Payne, like I said, he's another guy that can come in and run that pick and roll to perfection. He can come in, he can get off that screen, he can get to the rim and finish at the rim, or he's also a good enough a passer to, if the defense does collapse, he can kick it out to that corner to the open three-point shooter, and the Suns will get a three. And then also he's another guy that can throw good lob passes to the bigs. And then Aaron Holiday, he's a guy that's doing the same thing. He's averaging 4.2 assists off the bench for the Phoenix Suns. And like I said, they just have that's one of their group of perfect prototype players, is that they have three solid facilitators on this team. And the next group we're going to be talking about is the big man. The Phoenix Suns have the perfect big mans for the schemes that they run on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball as well. You look at Ayden. He's a guy that can do a little bit of everything on the offensive side as far as a big. We see him expanding his range every game, every year. His little 15-foot shot, his mid-range shot is starting to become butter. And then also he has an array of post moves, and he's a great screen setter. So when he set those picks, he makes life a lot easier for guys like Cameron Payne, Chris Paul, and Aaron Holiday. When he sets those nice screens, it opens everything up for the offense, and it makes the opposing defense have to make a quick decision. And then he's a great finisher at the rim. We've seen him catch some great lobs in his career. He caught that game-winning lob in the playoffs that went viral. That was very impressive. And then his backup, Javale McGee, he doesn't give the production that DeAndre Ayton gives, but he's a damn good backup center, and he comes into the game. No matter how many minutes he plays, and he makes a solid impact on the game. And he's just another big that can. I forgot to say this about DeAndre Ayton, but he's really good at protecting the rim as well. And so is Javale McGee. He comes in, protects the rim. He's one of the best shot blockers in the NBA coming off the bench. And then on the offensive side of the ball, he does the same thing. He sets great screens for the guards, which opens everything up for the Phoenix Suns offense and makes the defense have to make a decision. And then he's a great roller at the rim, and he's also a guy that's very underrated when it comes to improving on finishing around the rim. Since JaVale McGee has come into the league, he's got a lot better at doing that, and I see him doing that with the Phoenix Suns. And he's a really great lob threat, and he's good at running the floor, good at making opening up transition opportunities for the Phoenix Suns, and he's been a very solid pickup for the Phoenix Suns this year, and something that they wanted to improve on from last postseason. They wanted to improve on adding size to their front court, and that's something they did by adding JaVale McGee and also Bismack Biyombo, who can also come in and do those things that DeAndre Ayton and JaVale McGee does. So the Phoenix Suns, we going through two groups of their perfect prototype players. We going through the facilitators, we've gone through the big man, and now it's time to talk about the last group, which is the shooters. And the Phoenix Suns have plenty of these. We know Devin Booker, he's a great shooter on this team, and he doesn't just stop at catch and shoot. He can do a lot more with the basketball, but he is a great catch and shoot shooter. And Devin Booker is one of the most underrated players in the NBA. Doing what he does night in and night out is very impressive, and he's one of the more fun players to watch in the NBA too, because his game is just silky smooth. But the rest of these guys, Cam Johnson, every time I make a video about the Suns, I always talk about how I've never seen him miss. And then the night that Devin Booker and Chris Paul didn't play against the New York Knicks, Cam Johnson definitely had the best night of his career, and it was very impressive because he went 9-12 from the three, and like I said, it really seemed like he didn't miss. But he's another solid shooter on this team that makes their two-man game, their pick and roll work, because he's one of those guys that you can't back off of or leave open because he's a great shooter. So you guys see what I'm saying, that their scheme is the pick and roll, and basically everything goes as the pick and roll goes, and they have the perfect group of players to run that play 60-70% of the time, because it's just so many things that they can do out of it. And then also they have other shooters on the team. Mikal Bridges, great shooter. Landry Shamet is a great shooter. Torrey Craig, wouldn't call him a great shooter, but he's a good shooter. And the Phoenix Suns, most of their three-point shooters, they can also play defense. They can play on the other side of the ball. So they have 3-and-D shooters as well. So they have, like I said, they have the perfect group of, they have three groups of perfect prototype players. And they have one of the best coaches in all of the NBA, and Monty Williams. Monty Williams really showed me that over that stretch that they had to play without Chris Paul and Devin Booker, that he can coach some basketball. They played some really tough games. They played that game against the Milwaukee Bucks without their two best players, and it was a one-possession game all the way up into the last minute. So this Phoenix Suns team is very impressive, and I just had to make a video of what I observed from them over these last couple of games that they played without their two best players, and I was really impressed. But that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment down below if you agree or disagree with me, and then subscribe for my weekly content. We do this all the time, man, and that's curtains.